You've heard about the compensation plan. Before I get into what I want to talk to you about is the other side of the comp plan. You're going to need to learn the comp plan. Don't need to be experts at it. In fact, if you were to put 100 distributors or members from any direct selling company in a room and say, how many of you could teach the whole compensation plan, you'd probably get one or two hands. So not many people know the whole plan soup to nuts. Don't think you have to know it either. But there are some things that you'll need to learn. What do I get for selling? What do I get for building a little team? And that's about 90% of it. It's what we call the front end of the plan. And it's really simple. Just as a review, I make between 10 to 15% on my personal sales. What I buy also is part of that. So I get a 10 to 15% kind of a rebate, if you want, based on what I buy. How much do I make for building a team? I make, in fact, let's even back up. Back up a second. Let's suppose you meet me on an elevator. You know that I have a little lapel pin maybe, Hidden Hunger Global. You say, what's that? And I say, this is an amazing business that helps millions of kids in developing countries. And it's a network marketing company where there's a business opportunity. As the doors of the elevator close and you're going to get off on the 10th floor, we have 30 seconds to tell you about the comp plan. Here's what I would say. You can earn between 10 to 15% commission on all of the child-saving products that you sell. I personally have sold 100 of them, or whatever I might say. Also, the second way you make money is by building a little team, or a big team, as big as you want. You can make up to 10% commission on your personal recruit sales, up to 6% commission on their recruit sales, and up to 4% on their recruit sales. And if you build a bigger team, you get 2% more on the whole thing. And then when you become a leader, you make an additional override on teams of people below you. That's how the plan works. As the doors of the elevator open, and I give you a card and you give me a card. There it is, the elevator pitch. Is that hard? I don't think so. So that's the comp plan. Now, I'm not going to talk about the comp plan right now. I'm going to talk about how you work the comp plan. How do you succeed? Chad did a great job on talking to us about developing our business. I'm going to build on that. So let's dig in. All right. Working the plan. Let's recognize a couple things. In a direct selling company, any direct selling company, there are three groupings of distributors. And I'm going to I'll use members, which is what we're using. Three groupings of members. Everybody on the bottom is a member. I say consultant there, it's the same thing. Everybody comes in and they're a consultant, a member. What they're going to do is focus on two things, selling and recruiting. Pretty simple, isn't it? Everybody does that. Now, statistically, on the average, they are working weekly about 1 to 5 hours a week on their business. It's a very part-time, sometime kind of a thing. Most of these people are test driving to see if it's going to work. They have lots of other things to do in their life. You don't expect a person to join and spend full time. Hardly ever do we see that. They're going to spend just a few hours, and that's okay. They're going to test drive it. What you'd like to do is transition them out of the test drive mode and get them to buy the car, right? So what happens little by little as they build this little team, it's like my daughter Esther. 8, 9 years ago, she joined that candle company, Sensi, and she started selling candles. And from time to time would recruit somebody. And little by little, her team grew from 1 to 3 to 5 to 10. And eventually, she became what we call, generically, a team manager. This is the soccer coach or the Little League baseball coach that you heard me talk about earlier today. Some of you did. Not all of you. In essence, it's a coach. That person is the person that the people on the team, typically 10, 15, 20 people, look up to for organizing training meetings, for recognition, for coaching, and so forth. That person is also kind of like the parent of a family. That person is going to say, this is my team, I'm responsible for them. I'm going to make sure that everyone on my team has every opportunity to succeed. I'm going to get rid of the speed bumps. That's my mission in life, to help them succeed to the level they want to. Now, you know, how many of you are parents? Bunches of you. Okay. Can you force your child to do something? Does that work really well?
Yes.
Yeah?
He's sitting right there. Don't tell him different.
How's that work? Yeah, I don't know. Right. Yeah. Thanks, Frank. It doesn't work so well. What you got to do, and as we learn in life, you've got to help the child make the right choices for themselves, right? Because when you're not there, there's nobody to make them do what's right. They have to choose that on their own. And it's that way in direct selling. So the coach is kind of like a good parent, helping people make the right choices, helping people to do things right. That's what the team manager does. Now they're going to work the business a little more. About 8 to 15 hours a week is typical. Maybe an average of 10 hours or so a week. So it's not a full-time job. But heavens, no. They can do it for a couple of evenings a week, maybe a little bit on the weekend. It adapts to the schedule. But this is the most important role of all, right here. Without that, the business collapses. Your business collapses. So all of you should have a goal of becoming, and I'll use the word, a competent and skillful coach, a team manager. Now, manager, I don't mean like somebody filling out forms. No. It's a coach. It's a leader of a team. That's the goal. Now, how much should you earn at that level? At that level, if you're working 10 hours a week, 40 hours a month, you should be earning at least $1,000 a month. At least, hopefully more. If you're not, you might be spending less time on the business, or you might need to figure out how to work the business a little bit better. The plan is designed to reward people at that level, about $25 an hour, if they're working the business well. Trains, coaches, mentors, their own group and team, they do things right. They focus on doing things right, which is skill. It's tactical is what we call it. Now, the next step is to move to that of a leader. Now, a leader is simply this. A leader is a person who has successfully developed 2 or more team managers. Make sense? I like to say once is luck, twice is skill. So if you develop your first one, that's great. You're on your way. But you really need to show that you can do it again, because once is luck, twice is skill. So that's what a leader does. Now, leaders spend more time with their team managers, more time with their rising stars. They're working a bit more strategically, like a grandpa. I talk to my kids, and I ask them questions like, how would you be off in an emergency if you didn't have power for a few days? If you couldn't go to the store for a few days? If you lost your job? If something happened to you, do you have life insurance? I have those discussions with the kids. That's me as a grandpa, concerned about my grandkids. That's what a leader kind of does, looks at the business strategically. So, and then I help them to succeed. My mission in life is to help each of my 5 kids, knock on wood, happily married, to raise their kids successfully. Now, I'm not involved really in the day-to-day of raising their kids. That's their job. But I chat with them, we talk, and I get a feel of where they are, and I give them counsel when they want it. When they don't want it, I am quieter. Anyway, that's how a leader works too. So these are the three things. If you understand those three roles, and it's a role, it's not the title, it's a role, you'll understand how successful comp plans work. Now here's the interesting lesson. Having worked with over 1,000 direct selling companies in my 37 years, some of them the biggest companies in the industry, and a lot of small companies as well, and everything in between, I have found patterns. I have found things that successful companies do. Here's one of them. Every billion-dollar direct selling company focuses resources and attention on developing competent team managers. In our plan, there's a title in our career path. It's called the Senior Director, SD, Senior Director. That is our team manager. And everybody who's a senior director or above has a role of a team manager. Notice the visual here. We try to say if you're a team manager, you're also a consultant or member, right? You have two hats. And if you're a leader, how many hats do you have? 3. That's it, right there. You get it. If you understand that, you're 80% of the way there. Make sense? Is that hard? Pretty simple. Okay. Next thing we need to understand is that successful compensation plans, here's another pattern, successful compensation plans focus on 5 different areas of reward, 5 different behaviors or skills. Selling to customers, that's where it starts. Recruiting members into the business who are in turn going to sell to customers. And they in turn will recruit also. Those are the ones that are self-evident. This third behavior is that of building or developing those team managers. There are things that the system has to reward so that we end up creating lots and lots of these team managers. You know, if you were to join Amway, you wouldn't really be joining Amway as much as you would be joining a team of Amway people. That is what has built them. They're now the largest direct selling company in the world. They have eclipsed Avon. They have over $12 billion in sales. It's the same way at Herbalife. It's the same way at Nu Skin. It's the same way at Melaleuca. And I could go on and on. All of these mega successful companies, they use the same system. 5 golden behaviors. The fourth is building leaders of team managers and other leaders. And the 5th is retention. Retention, there's a whole lot of things that drive retention. The number one thing is a simple answer to a question. Is it worth it? If it's not worth it, what happens? They're out. If it's not worth it to you, you're out. I mean, it's a real simple formula. It has to be worth it. What we have found is that if you can work the business in a smart way so that you can earn a minimum of $25 an hour for the productive time you spend in the business, the time you spend thinking about the business in the shower does not count. The time you spend browsing Facebook does not count. I'm talking about doing things that you've heard about today, productive things. $25 an hour. You figure that out and teach others the same, and your retention rate will grow wonderfully well. And then you'll have a business that is self-sustainable. It grows because people stick. Now, why $25 an hour? I don't know all the answers on that one, but that's what our research has found. There's a very consistent pattern. It's different in different countries. In Guatemala, well, for example, we've just finished a project in Indonesia. $4.50. That's their magic number. Australia, 45 Australian dollars. It's different for each country, but here in the United States, $25 is a magic tipping point. Higher than that, strong retention. Simple, dollar per hour proposition. I think the reason is, honestly, because in our business, we don't have a salary. We don't have fringe benefits like vacation pay, sick pay, things like that. It's not a job. No, we have a lot of other benefits, not to mention tax write-offs and things of that sort, because it's a business, but it's also flexible, isn't it? I don't have to show up for work. If I'm sick, I can stop. If I want to spend more time this week, I do. That flexibility, because we're self-employed, is wonderful. That is really attractive. I like that. But the problem is, if you were to ask a dozen members, how much are you going to make next month? They wouldn't be able to tell you very accurately what that will be. They'll say, I hope I can make fill in the blank. That lack of predictable income makes it difficult for us to compete on par with a part-time job at Walmart, The Gap, Macy's, Kroger's, wherever. That they're paying maybe $9, $10, $12 an hour. We can't compete with a predictable income at that same level. So what do? Simple. We raise how much people can earn through the business. Does that make sense? That's what I've found. And I've never found anything that would dispute that. So, 5 behaviors. Our plan is built around that. So, how do you work the plan? You heard me say we want to become a senior director, which is the team manager. Remember the coach, right? Now, is this a hard job? No, it's really rewarding. It's not hard. It isn't. It's part-time. 8 to 10 hours a week will work fine. But it is a business. You've got people that are in your team that are creating commissions that you're going to get month after month after month. And the nice thing is that when you're there and you're earning, who knows, $800, $1,000, $1,200, $1,500 a month, whatever, you can go on a cruise ship and be making money. You can be sleeping at home and making money. You can be sick in bed and making money because your team is working part-time and having a ball doing it. And the neatest thing about Hidden Hunger is that we're not selling lotions, potions, and pills here, are we? We're not trying to push people to buy something that they don't need, they don't want, and we're having to convince them that they do need it and they do want it. That's gone. We're not an Amway. We're not a beauty whatever company. We're Hidden Hunger Global. If you buy into the need and you are willing to participate in the mission and make a difference in the lives of countless kids, this is for you and it's for them. We're not selling lotions, potions, and pills. It's a game changer. That's why I love this business. Hidden Hunger. I love Hidden Hunger. It's great. So, back to this. Becoming a team manager. Okay, we're going to simplify how you work the plan here. 3 steps. Sell and recruit. Any questions? Find your rising stars and help them to advance one step in the career path. If you do that, you're going to build an amazing business. This is what I have learned from the best leaders of the business. Over time, this is how they do it. This is how they started. One of my clients, 25 years ago, was a mailman for the Danish postal system. Now he has a hobby of teaching yoga. Has a ponytail down to the middle of his back. He also lives in a $39 million penthouse suite in Monte Carlo and drives a black GT Ferrari convertible, of which there are 5 in the world. Has a yacht that comes in when the weather is good into the bay. Yeah, delivered mail 20 years ago. Now, he got into this business, and this is how he did it. But it's not just how he did it, it's how everybody does it who achieves sustainable success. This is not rocket science. You sell and recruit. What did we hear earlier from Don? We heard set the example. This is an example business. Find your rising stars. and help them advance one rank in the career path. And once they're there, you help them advance to the next one. Let's talk about each of these. Selling and recruiting. Teach your team to earn $25 an hour. Now, let's define that in our particular business. We're not selling lotions, potions, and pills, or candles, or makeup, or whatever. What we're selling really is a child-saving product. And in our business, the unique thing about it is that a child-saving product costs only how much? $20. Now, you can buy as many as you want. As a customer, you can buy, 1 or 5 or 10 or whatever your budget allows. That's great. So you buy them in multiples. The problem is this. If I enroll Jake as a customer, and he decides that he and his wife can buy 5 child-saving products a month, $100 a month. Well, if he's a customer, I'll make 10 to 15% as a commission. So if I'm at the low end of that, 10%, and he's buying 5, that's $100 a month, I'll make how much? $10. It's still Starbucks money, isn't it? Until you realize that I don't have to go back to him and explain the program again to him next month, and next month, and next month. That when he enrolls as a customer and he's signing up on a monthly subscription, right? That's the idea. It's not a one and done kind of a thing. So his one purchase of $100 a month is really $1,200 a year. And what's 10% of that? Oh, now the game changes just a little bit. So I might not get my $25 all up front, but I'm going to get it over time, right? So if I spend an hour with Jake, and over the course of the next year I make $120, how much have I earned per hour? That's a little bit better than Walmart, right? There's the key right there. You got to explain that to them. So their first check isn't necessarily going to pay them $25 an hour, but they don't have a whole lot of time investment thereafter. So it's kind of like the insurance business in a certain sense. They close a deal for, I buy a life insurance policy from my agent Mark, and he gets a commission, and he doesn't have to call me every month. I get a letter from him a couple of times a year, and that's about it. He's happy. So this is similar to that. So selling, got to teach them the $25 an hour. Recruiting, real simple formula there. No selling, no recruits. What does that mean? If you're not talking to people about child-saving products, you're not recruiting either. You always lead with the product and mission, and you follow with the opportunity. You never do it vice versa. We're not Amway. We're not selling out of a big catalog a whole bunch of products that might be priced more than competitive. We're not doing that. So we don't have a catalog. We lead with product and mission. We follow with opportunity. So as you sell, you're also recruiting. Should you recruit all of your customers? Absolutely not. You let them self-select. You're going to make the same amount on them. 56% of people who join direct selling companies were customers before they joined. Shouldn't surprise you. They want to see if the product works. Do I like the company? Do I like the culture? Is my sponsor an honest and honorable person? They want to know that first. So they're going to test drive. As a customer, that's okay. Which teaches us a strategy there too, doesn't it? That we can go back to customers and we can invite them if they want. But if they say, I have no interest in an MLM opportunity, no interest in network marketing, don't want to recruit anybody, I just want to help some kids. Great. Let them be. Don't push, or they will cancel because they just don't want to do that. You've got to sense what they're willing to do. But some will join because they want to they want to evangelize this, and they'd like to earn some money for their time. One of the things Duncan said, which impressed me, he was involved in marketing before. You are the marketing agency. Instead of some Fifth Avenue or New York firm earning millions and millions of dollars for doing websites and television advertising and all of that stuff. If you watch Fox News or CNN, the commercials that you see, how many commercials do you see for charitable causes? Lots. How much money do you think those charitable causes spend? Millions and millions, hundreds of millions of dollars. Absolutely. So, we don't do that. We don't have TV time. We don't have newspaper ads. We don't have expensive advertising agencies. What we have are regular people like you and me. You get to earn what they would have earned. It's a real simple business model. Right? That's what makes it all work. So, you sell, you recruit. That's a real simple thing to start with. If you don't want to recruit, that's okay. You can just sell. But then we have to recognize there's pros and cons to that. In this business, there are two income streams that each person can earn. The first income stream comes from the profits or commissions from personal selling to customers. Notice how the earnings curve goes up steeply in the first few months. It goes up, but then it flattens out. Why do you think that flattens out? Because what?
You're not recruiting as hard.
Right, you're not recruiting as hard, not working as hard. What else?
Limited customer base.
Limited customer base, that's part of it. One of the things that, was it Chad that talked about the 100-name list? Or Don? Okay. So one of the things that Don talked about was the 100-name list. I want to add a little comment to that story. Always, always, always ask your customers who they know that would want to also participate. Go for customer referrals. Because once you burn through your address list, what do you do then? What you want to do is turn every customer into a lead generator if you can. Now, they're not all going to do that, but some will. Especially when they see the good they're doing, they'll do it. So the reason that we flatten out here is really two things. We cannot be naive and think that every single customer will sign up to buy 5 child-saving products or 10 or whatever for the rest of their life. There will be some sort of an attrition rate. I sign up, I enroll 10 customers. A year later, they're not all going to be still purchasing child-saving products. I don't know what that number is going to be. Let's suppose that half are still buying. A 50% retention rate. That's not a bad retention rate. If that's the case, at some point in time, for every customer that I lose, I'll be bringing in a new customer. And that's what contributes to the flattening at some point in time. The second issue is a bigger issue. The second issue is leverage. Leverage says that for each hour of time I put into the business, I get some sort of money out. Is it worth it? This is where we want to hit $25 an hour. When the fulcrum's in the middle, it simply says this. You want to double your income? Simple solution. Double your time. There's no leverage in that. If you spend half the time on your business, guess what will happen to your income? Right. No leverage. The leverage comes when you start building a team. The fulcrum moves over a little bit so that you get more leverage out of it. You push down a little bit, and this goes up a whole lot. Now we can get maybe 2 times the earnings for the hours that we spend in the business. And when you become a leader, it goes up, who knows, 10 times. I would venture that my daughter Esther is earning somewhere between $100 to $200 an hour on her business because she's a leader now. That's how leaders work. I've known leaders that earn thousands of dollars an hour because of leverage. Make sense? So if we go back to this previous slide, when we enroll somebody, recruit somebody into the business, we teach them how to bring customers in. We teach them how to recruit right away as well. But the income from their recruits, their members they bring in, takes a while to ramp up. It's not as immediate of a thing. Why? Because those recruits take a while for them to go find customers, for them to generate volume. If I bring in a recruit and he or she is only generating maybe $100 a month in volume from their own personal subscription, well, it's not going to be a whole lot that I'm going to earn off of that. But when they start recruiting and they start finding more customers, their volume goes from 100 to 500 to 1,000 to 5,000, now we're talking some real money. But that's going to take a while. It might take 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, who knows? Some people, it comes real fast. Some people, it takes a while. But that curve right here, commissions from the team, eventually will climb in an exponential way, and eventually it will surpass or eclipse the money that we make from selling to customers. That's a day worth celebrating. That's a good day. But it's not going to happen in your first month in most cases. I've seen it happen, but it's the oddity. It's the rare thing. Most times it takes a while. So here's one of the lessons I've learned. Remember the dollar per hour and retention connection? It's easier to earn that than it is to earn that. This buys us time while the second curve is beginning to take off. Does that make sense? So as you build your team, you teach them that. You teach them to, if you want quick money now, go find some customers. As you do, you'll have recruiting opportunities, and little by little your team will grow, and eventually you'll build that residual income. So it will continue to grow and climb, and they will start recruiting people. And like my daughter Esther, who now has 5,000 people in her organization, it will grow and grow and grow. Had you asked Esther 9 years ago when she joined that candle company, how many people do you think you'll have in your team 9 years from now? She probably would have said 10. She's, like most leaders, an accidental success. She's learned how to do the business. In her part-time, she has 3 of the cutest kids that walk the face of the planet, in my unbiased opinion. Okay, so leveraged, good. Find your rising stars. Building a team is the key to sustainable growth because you can't do it all yourself. So you hunt for your rising stars. You turn them into your helpers, and if everything depends on you, you're going to burn out. There's the lessons partly that we learn. Burnout's not good. So you find helpers, and they're working with you, arm in arm, building a team. Andrew Carnegie, a billionaire in the early 1900s, said, rather than do the work of 10 men, I would rather get 10 men to do the work. That's our business right there. So find your rising stars. Now, who are your rising stars? It's really simple. First, they're your sellers. People who are consistently selling, you see their personal volumes climb. Second, they are your recruiters. They are also even the recruits that you bring in that bring in their first recruit. Boy, that one is on your radar screen, and you want to be all over that. Help them to continue that momentum. Third, they are your builders who are advancing quickly in the career path. The computer system, your back office, will help you spot people moving up the career path. Keep your eye on them. You'll know who is advancing and who's not. Those are your rising stars as they advance. Why is that important? Because of step 3. You simply help them to advance to the next rank. Don't do it for them. You teach them what they have to do, help them to set the goals, help them to get there. So it goes from success to success to success to success. Make sense? There's your strategy. 3 things. Sell and recruit, so you're setting the pace. Find your rising stars. Work with them. Spend more time with them than you do with the other people. A great leader once taught me a wise lesson. He said, I do well in this business because I have learned a great lesson. What's that? I said. I spend my time with the people who deserve my time, not the people who demand my time. That was really smart. Third, we help them move to the next rank. Now, how do you do that? Here's 3 little steps for that to advance to the next rank. Find their why. Why are you in the business? As their sponsor, that's the first thing that you should find out about them. Why are you in the business? If you don't know the answer to that, you have no hope or prayer to help them out. Because their why is what will keep them in the business. And you are going to become the advocate of their why. You show them the benefit of advancing to the next rank. How much more do they get? What's the income increase going to be? One of the things of this plan, which is not common, this is a common mistake made by amateurs designing comp plans. You advance to the next rank and you make the same earnings because the plan is not designed right. In our plan, when you advance to the next rank, I will guarantee that there will always be a raise. It's how it's designed. So, why should I advance to the next rank, you say, if you're my sponsor? I say, why should I advance to the next rank? Because, Dan, you're going to get a raise. I like a raise. More dollar per hour, yeah, I like that. That's a good thing. Raises are good. And then you train, coach, and mentor. Now, find their why. How do you do that? You have a dialogue with them. You share your why first. So you're one-on-one. You're in their kitchen or they're in your kitchen. And you say, I'm in the business. I want to tell you, I love this business. And here's why. Now, why are you in the business? Why did you join? And you be prepared to take some notes. Those notes are going to help you someday. Because when they call you up someday, discouraged, tears coming down their face, there's some drama, you're going to take your notes out and you're going to reconnect them to why they joined. And the tears are going to go away. And they're going to get the courage to get back up again. Next thing you do as you talk about their why is you ask them how much time they're willing to work on an hours per week basis. So you bring out this little chart, a schedule. You can draw it on a piece of paper. Monday through Sunday, morning, afternoon, and evening. Right? You with me? And you simply say, Susie, let's suppose, scenario. I enroll Samantha. And I say, Samantha, why are you in the business? She says, we want to go to Disneyland next year as a family. I say, that's a great goal. How much do you think it's going to cost you? She says, about $5,000. It's expensive. I need to do this business so that we can save that up. Great. There's her why. So then I would say, Samantha, how much time can you spend on the business to achieve that goal? Let's put some dollar signs in the time blocks that you're willing to spend on the business on a regular basis. So what am I doing here? I am setting her up for success. I'm setting her up also to be accountable to herself and, with her permission, to me in a loving and kind way. So she writes the dollar signs like this or whatever she does, and we have a starting point. Now, the conversation might go where she says, I can only spend Saturday afternoons. That's all I've got. Okay, Samantha, that's great. So how much time in the afternoon? About an hour. So an hour a week, 4 hours a month, and how much was it that you need to earn? About $500 a month for 10 more months. Samantha, that probably isn't going to work for you. I help her to connect to reality that either she's got to adjust the goal or she's got to adjust her time. See how that conversation is going to go? Hopefully she adjusts her time to meet her goal. They make it reasonable. Okay. Once we have that discussion, then I show her the benefit of advancing. That's not hard. First question, is it worth it? She's got to say, yes, it's worth it. I've got to show her that. Show them how much more they'll earn. Connect the reward that they're going to get, the income, the raise, to the why. Samantha, in order to be earning $500 a month, you're going to have to generate this much volume in your team, whatever that might be. Right? So, there's the goal. And that would make you a director, or whatever the title might be. So our goal is to get you to director as soon as you can. Right? Right. And then we'd work out a game plan. Make sense? Is this complicated? No. Help her to visualize the results. So the first thing I'd do, I'd come over after my first meeting with her, and I'd have some pictures. I'd have Disneyland and Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck, and we would put them all over her house. We would get her kids so jazzed up about going to Disneyland that they would be pushing her out the house on Tuesday and Thursday evenings so that they can go to Disneyland. We'd get full support from her husband. The whole family would get involved. We would create a temperature thermometer chart. How far along are we? Is she spending her checks as they come in on groceries and other things, or is she saving them? How far along is she toward her goal? I would be the advocate of her why. And lastly, train, coach, and mentor. So here's a formula. As you're building a team, you mentor by example. You set the pace. As Don said, I think it was Don, expect them to do about half what you do. I'd love to expect them to do more. And some will. Most won't. You mentor by example. You bring them along to shadow. They shadow you. You go with them to appointments. You train correct principles. The principles explain why, but you train them. It's not just tactical. It's not just in the Army about shooting the gun straight. It's about why you're shooting it straight. A, it saves your life. B, it takes care of the enemy. There's the principle. Okay? Really simple. Coach with accountability. So, Samantha and I have the discussion. I say, Samantha, you've said you're going to work Tuesday and Thursday evening and Saturday afternoon. Can I call you maybe Saturday night, 8 o'clock, just to follow up every week and see how you did on that? I get her permission. Always permission is necessary. She says, sure, that will help. Anyone ever gone to a fitness club and had a coach, a fitness coach? They help you set goals, and then you're accountable, aren't you? This is what I'm talking about. It's just like a fitness coach, except for the business. Just like that. And when you don't meet your goal, when you don't do what you said you do, what does the coach do? What does the coach do?
He gets on you and reminds you of your goal.
Exactly. I'm so sorry, Disneyland's going to have to wait till the next year now, or whatever. Yeah, exactly. So you train, coach, and mentor. The second question that's really important is, can I do it? This is what answers that. If Samantha doesn't believe that she can do the business, she's not going to try. My goal is to help her get there. Do this, get that. Yes, all of that. And then we follow up regularly. You be devastated, not angry, if they did not try. Oh, Samantha, you must be devastated that you weren't able to work the business at all this week. That's really unfortunate. I'm sorry. How do you feel about that? She says, I feel terrible. And I'm saying to myself, good. And so I help her to recommit, and next week's another week, and I might follow up an extra time or two, but I help her get back up, because everybody has setbacks, don't they? Kids are sick or whatever happens, yeah, but help her get back up. I'm the advocate of their why. Now, there will be people that don't deserve your time. A skill that leaders learn is when to move on. When you spend time with one person, you can't spend time with another because your time is very valuable to you. Does that make sense? When you say yes to one, you're saying no to someone else. So here's a simple dialogue, and we'll wrap it up. Learn to say no. This is what I call the warm, fuzzy, cold, prickly, warm, fuzzy approach. Sally, I cherish your friendship and know that you're very busy. I really wish I had more time to spend with you, but I have others who are very committed to building their businesses and need more of my time. Please call me when you're ready to work a weekly plan to make a great part-time income. I will be there for you. Warm, fuzzy, cold, prickly, warm, fuzzy. Make sense? This is a skill that everybody has to learn. It's a skill that moms have to learn. Right? Right, Amber? You got to learn that with the kids. This homework is so hard. Yes, honey, I know it's so hard. But if you would just do it, it would be so much easier. I know you can do it. Let me help you. Whatever that discussion is. So there we go. Duncan?